Hey, and happy Wednesday. I have been thinking and praying about what to say here, and though this might come up short of what you were expecting, I hope that you know how greatly I value and appreciate each one of you. Over these weeks of my life that I have gotten to spend with each of you, I have felt so loved and encouraged that the best midweek recharge I have for each of you is to say thank you. Thank you for calling me and welcoming me home. Denise talked a few weeks ago in reflection of her birthday about things that she would have liked to have shared with a younger Denise. And as I was listening to her recharge, I was reminded of my nearing birthday and looking back at the past year of my life. This year has truly been like no other, and I could say that even if COVID was not a factor. The last year of my life was full of accomplishments, uncertainty, change, affirmation, and more support than I could ever deserve. I had some big plans for this year of my life, and none of these great plans that I had dreamed up involved moving to South Carolina. A few years ago, I felt a great call to attend seminary, and I had no idea what I would do with this degree once it was completed. But I knew that God was calling me, and wanted me to trust Him with the rest. I wish I could say I did this act with a faith with full confidence and no doubt in the Lord's plan, but I actually looked for every way I could out. While I was persistent in looking for other options for my future, the Lord was even more persistent in His call to my life. 6 months ago, I finished the season of my life with the most anticlimactic way possible. Throughout my years in seminary, I considered many options of what I would be doing when this education was complete, and when I was done, I was back to square one with no idea and no plans of what was to come. My dreams of having a full-time job upon graduation fell short, and in the months after graduation, I was overwhelmed with the nothingness going on in my life. My joking but honest response to friends who wanted to go get coffee or meals or hang out for a weekend during this time was, I can do whatever. I have no plans for the rest of my life. I remember my COVID season walks with the Lord, begging Him to show me some sense of hope in this season of waiting. To show me, as Chuck was saying last week, the silver lining in what seemed like a thunderstorm that I was living in. There were times when I was confused or irritated that the Lord had called me to seminary, something that I was reluctant to do. But I had done the deed, but it seemed like there was no reward. Why had the Lord made me go through all of this for nothing? In what seemed like the most uncertain season of my life, the Lord reminded me that He who began a good work in me would bring it to completion. That His work in my life was not finished, and that there was purpose for all the things that I was beginning to doubt. In this time, I began to cling to Isaiah 58:11, which says, "And the Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your desire in scorched places, and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a water garden, like a spring of water, whose waters do not fail." I felt like I could relate to this wilderness wandering. I felt like they too were overwhelmed with the nothingness and waiting for God to make a move in their life to show them the way. But the Lord was with them and with me and with each one of you throughout all of it, guiding continually. I have shared this before in a children's sermon, but my mom often calls times like these growing seasons. There are times when the Lord needed His people, myself included, more than I wish, to trust Him more. When His people needed to grow, their bones needed to be made stronger in order to be ready for what was next, in order to look more like Jesus than they did the day before. Throughout my wandering and nothingness, I clung to these words, knowing that the Lord was there with me and that He was making my bones stronger and making me like a watered garden. And now, being on the other end of this, knowing how it all turns out, His plans are way better than mine. This time of waiting was well worth it, and Earl has become the greatest of silver linings in a rather cloudy year. Since moving here, I've felt more loved and encouraged than I ever have, and I am forever thankful for each of you and the love of Christ that you have shown day in and day out. I believe that this love that you guys have and show so well is what sets Earl apart. It's what makes Earl Earl. It's the way that you love God and that you love others. So thank you for opening the doors of your life to me, for loving me all the ways that you have, and for welcoming me home. There's no place that I would rather be, even on a cloud.